A fellow that approached yesterday, late in the evening, a young man that had a walker. He asked about the vehicle, and then he was interested in understanding why the mission, what it was. And he said in a way that seemed genuine and true, he finds what he understands to be his relationship to Jesus, salvation for him. He was pinned against a wall with a forklift truck, and it crushed his spine. I did not ask him what the prognosis was, whether rehab was even possible. He did not suggest so. But sometimes in situations like that, rehab is possible. Sometimes the doctors will say, no, you'll never walk again. But the determination of the individual to change themselves, to rehabilitate themselves, creates what seems like miracles. Jesus invited us into rehab to change ourselves, to rehabilitate ourselves from the crushing of our humanity done by our cultures, religious and secular. Who wants to do rehab? I mean, who enjoys the pain, the endless hours, the thousands of hours, the self-discipline, the sweat, the discomfort, the isolation, the loneliness? Almost no one. But some are blessed with a conviction that on the other side of rehab lies a life that is more than worth the pain and the discomfort and the hours. The hours not doing what they want to do. Now, there are people that self-administer snake oil or pursue or are pursued by snake oil salesmen. Oh, there's an easy way out of this. Here, just take these pills, or let's talk about it. Let's talk for a while. Talk is fun. Talk is enjoyable. Talk is addictive, gratifying. Let's talk about it. Let's talk every week about it. Come into church and let's talk every week about it. No sweat and toil involved here. You're a mere mortal, by the way. You're not God. You're not Jesus. You can't be held accountable for your evil spirits. There's really nothing you can do about them. But if you come and spend an hour here every week, hopefully put something in the collection plate, you'll feel better. And in the next life, you'll be a child of God. Well, that's not Jesus. And I can't find the place where he said, bolt on the Old Testament like Paul tells you to do, bolt it back on to my teachings and thereby crucify them. And I can't find where he says, wait for Paul. Sorry, I can't save you. I'm only giving you a little piece. Paul can save you. The apostles can save you. The Baptists can save you. The Catholics can save you. Christianity can save you. I can't find that. What I find is time and time and time again, Jesus rehabbing himself. What else was he doing when he was praying, when he went into the desert? And showing us, leading us, inspiring us, a few of us, to follow his example and rehab ourselves. Well, James here continues to fall into the trap. He enjoys talking. He has much to share. But except in the smallest doses, to inspire someone into rehab, the gold standard being Jesus' 1,010 instructions and example, with maybe a little bit of help from the trials and errors and learnings and understandings of those 1,010 by disciple James and maybe some others. In his 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day encounters with folks when they approach the vehicle, there's very little risk of that. They're 10, 15 minutes, and that's the last time we'll interchange. But with some correspondence, particularly online, wow, it goes into hours, and then hours, and then hours, and then hours, and then hours. And what's James doing? Oh, he's enjoying himself, he's growing, but he's depriving the correspondent of the growth. And damn it, James, this has got to stop. You have got to stop enabling this fantasy. You just can't do it anymore, man. You can't do it anymore. You've got to stop enabling people into thinking that it's not a rehab project. Oh, if I just get the right idea, if we just talk this long enough. No kind of rehab like that was going to rehabilitate this young man and his crushed spine. And no amount of talking is going to rehabilitate our crushed humanity. James, I don't have time to read your website. What you say there isn't anything new anyway. So please find the time to explain your thoughts to me, which aren't new. They've already been said by others. But please take your time to talk me through it. My few correspondence on the subject that obsesses me, humanity as lived and exemplified and instructed by the man Jesus in the Gospels. My few correspondents have helped me grow immeasurably, including just now in the realization I just had. What you've said isn't new, James. It's already been said elsewhere. I don't have time to read your website, to study it, to try to understand it, but I want you to spend a lot of time and energy talking to me about it. So, I have nothing new to say. It isn't worth the time of the correspondent to study the website, but it is their interest to have us in hours and hours of dialogue. Someone needs to help me connect these dots, because I can't. Rather, I can't connect them to any important objective other than talking, because talking is stimulating. For 2,000 years, we've wanted to talk about Jesus in our own terms, rather than doing what he said and showed, which was taking ourselves into a arduous, lifelong, intensive, strenuous, exhausting, wonderful, joyful rehab process for our Holy Spirit, our humanity. Talking is ever so much easier. It's such a cheap substitute, and we talk ourselves to death. And James has continued to enable that too often, too easily, maybe most of the time, with promising correspondence. Feeding an addiction rather than helping to break an addiction and form a new attachment to the joy of exercising and growing humanity, starting with oneself. And note to James here, man, this has got to stop.